This is Newcap News with Bart Pediasic.
Good evening. We begin tonight with a business fire that kept emergency crews busy this morning just off Highway 16 west of Lloydminster. The fire started around 7:15 when a semi-trailer caught fire in a building just off Range Road 20. The blaze is believed to have originated inside a truck, which eventually spread to the whole building.
Right now, we don't know the actual cause of the fire. It originated from first reports in one of the trucks.
The fire was eventually contained, but black smoke did cause major delays to eastbound traffic.
We had good support from the RCMP. They monitored the traffic flow on Highway 16. Visibility was down to pretty much nil for a while.
There are no reported injuries, and an investigation is still underway. Oil prices have hit a 5-year low, and with houses staying on the market longer than usual, it leaves homeowners wondering if it's a bad time to sell. The president of the Realtors Association of Lloydminster, Michael Dewing, says while oil prices do affect the housing market, it's hard to say just how much with other factors at play.
It's the time of the year. We just made it through the holidays. That certainly slows us down. And the weather, when Mother Nature is minus 37 outside, there's certainly not a lot of house shoppers out there as well.
Now, typically, a house is priced for 30 days on a market, but lately they're staying 60 or even 90 days more. The prices of houses will start to drop if it continues this way.
It will correct itself if it stays like this for a length of time. If it's a month-long glitch, we'll be fine. We'll be nice and stable throughout. If it lasts for much longer than that, we will see a slight correction in the prices.
Dewing says it will be easier to see any negative effects of oil on the housing market next month. A 32-year-old man from Frog Lake First Nation is recovering in hospital after being rescued from the cold weather. Police say the man, who was not dressed for the elements, ran into a remote area of the community. RCMP and police service dogs found him 4 hours later suffering from severe hypothermia. He was treated on scene and was taken to a hospital in St. Paul, where he's expected to make a full recovery. And nearly 24 cars in a Canadian National Railway freight have jumped the tracks in east central Alberta. Now, no one was hurt when a total of 23 cars derailed overnight about 25 kilometers west of Wainwright. CN says in a release that cleanup crews are at the scene after liquid adhesive, which it calls a non-dangerous good, spilt from one of the cars. The company says 114-car Saskatoon-bound train was checked before leaving Edmonton and had passed over 8 electronic inspection detectors before the derailment. Well, a local fantasy author has made Amazon.ca's top 20 books in the action-adventure category. Dan Billick had his first novel, Tournament of Hearts, the Librarian Gladiator, published December 19th. He was pleasantly surprised to see his book rubbing shoulders with cult classics like Game of Thrones and The Da Vinci Code.
At one point during the first week, or for actually a sustained amount of time, I was in the top 20. I hit 15 at one point and kind of nuzzled up to George R.R. Martin and Dan Brown, which was just neat.
Billick won an international short story competition in late 2013, earning himself a published contract. He spent most of 2014 writing his novel and couldn't be happier with its popularity.
It was a lifelong dream for me. For me, it wasn't making it to the NHL. I love hockey, but for me, it was being published and getting my book out there.
The Librarian Gladiator is the first in a trilogy and is only available in digital format at the moment. Billick hopes to get hard copies on bookshelves by the end of January. Well, today's kindergarten classes just aren't the same as they used to be, and for good reason. In this week's edition of Beyond the Classroom, we take a look at the new teaching approach staff at Mother Teresa Early Childhood Education Center are taking and how it's already paying off. Stepping into first-year teacher Kristen Eliason's classroom, you'll be hard-pressed to find a difference between this group and any other kindergarten class in the country. And while these kids do spend time learning basic letters, sounds, and numbers, the difference is Eliason molds her lesson plan according to what they want to learn.
And it's just a real student-led learning. So what they're interested in is what we follow up on and just try and go with what they want to learn about.
It's all part of the inquiry method of teaching. Eliason says she aims to inspire deeper learning and high-level thinking for the kids.
There's not so much sitting at the table, writing your letters, writing your numbers, and just doing your job. There's a lot more exploration and play, lots of play-based learning. And I like the kids to explore, so I'll put out an invitation on the table rather than a worksheet.
Meaning these students learn, some without even realizing it.
Stevie, what's your favorite thing you've learned in kindergarten this year?
Playing games.
The teaching style is a staple of the Early Childhood Education Center, and despite only being open for the last year, Principal Christine Vince says it's already produced results.
And what we're really excited about when we took a look at the test results is that our students did improve wherever they were at a much larger rate. And so depending if they were already ready for kindergarten, then they might have gone into some of those grade 1 skills.
And while the lesson plan from class to class is never quite the same, Eliason says it's an exciting way to both learn and teach.
It's chaos, but it's very exciting chaos.
And that's just in. Battleford's RCMP are asking for the public's help in finding a 41-year-old woman. Charmel Carlton was reported missing yesterday around 1:30 p.m. after being last seen outside a business in Saskatoon. She failed to return to a scheduled time at a Saskatoon hospital after signing herself out of the unit. There is a warrant for her arrest. She has been previously charged with an offense involving youth under the age of 14. Carlton is described as a Caucasian female, brown-black hair, but is known to dye it blonde or red. She has brown eyes, is 5 foot 5 inches, and is approximately 165 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black hooded sweater and brown pants. If you see Carmel Carlton or have any information, RCMP are asking you to contact them at 306-222-8477 or Crime Stoppers.